So let's do a 24-hour readathon. I've never actually done a full-on 24-hour readathon, but tonight I am going to try my best to stay up as late as I can and read some spooky, scary books. I did this makeup for my Halloween TBR. It's probably up before this video, so if you haven't seen that, go watch it and then come back to this video. The books that I plan on reading in the next 24 hours are The Haar, 2 Goosebumps books by R.L. Stine, Welcome to Deadhouse, Ghost Beach. Both of them are like the Persian translated versions. Next up, we have Diavola, Fantasticland, Ibitsu Volume 2, and The Haunting of Aveline Jones. These are all the books that I'm hoping I can get to during this 24-hour readathon, but like my main priority is The Haar because I cannot wait any longer to read that book. I am completely in the spooky, scary mood, as you can tell, and that book, I've heard amazing things about it, so yeah. We're gonna start off with that. I might change my reading plans a little bit because I'm a mood reader and it might change. I will try my best to stick to the plan. Right now, I'm going to take this makeup off and just like get into comfy PJs and start reading. Halfway through The Haar and I am loving it. So I was a little bit wrong about it. What I understood from the synopsis was that there's this village and a fog comes in. This fog like brings some people miracles and it brings some others madness. That's what I thought it was going to be, but it's kind of different. Like there is a fog that like comes, but there's this creature. This creature can both do miracles and horrible, filthy things. This book, up until this point, it made me cry at one point, and I don't want to talk about it because I feel like it's kind of like a spoiler, but there are like discussions on grief. That's the part where it made me cry, and something happens related to grief, which I was not expecting because I didn't know it. Like when I read the synopsis or I heard people talking about it, nobody talked about this aspect. So it is a horrifying book, but it has also been like an emotional roller coaster for me. I'm feeling so much while reading this book. Like there are terrifying scenes. I haven't been scared, but like I can tell that some people might get scared while reading this book. I'm not scared, but definitely disgusting, gory things are happening. I'm gonna continue on reading. It's actually 10 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is 10:08 p.m. and I plan on finishing this book definitely tonight. And then right after that, when I finish that, I would very much like to read Welcome to Deadhouse by R.L. Stine because it's like a short book, and R.L. Stine books usually take me an hour to read, maybe an hour and a half. This is definitely my other plan for tonight. Even if I don't get to read like all the books on my TBR for this readathon, I'm still very satisfied because I am loving The Haar, and I just hope that it doesn't disappoint after this part. I just hope that the second half is as good as the first half that I just read. I'm gonna go read a little bit more and then I will update you. So I am filming with a different camera. I'm sorry if the quality or the voice has changed a little bit. It's 9 minutes past 1. I just finished The Haar. Wow, honestly. It was such a different and beautiful experience reading this book. The brain of this author kind of like fascinates me. If you didn't know, my like 2 favorite genres like of all time are romance and horror. I have never read any book that like combined these 2 genres together and like did a good job. This book was so romantic, so scary, heartbreaking. Like, I don't even know what to say. I'm like speechless, honestly. It's definitely going to be a 5-star. I can't stop smiling. This book made me cry a couple of times because, as I already mentioned, there are discussions on grief, losing a loved one. It just like made me really emotional. The main character of this book, she's an 84-year-old woman, and she has lost her husband 12 years ago. And we can see that even after 12 years, she's still not over him and over the pain. It always like is a big question to me, that are they like always like denying, the 5 stages of grief, but I haven't experienced all of the stages. I'm like stuck in denial. This main character seemed like she is stuck in that state as well, and it's been like 12 years, and I always have this question. I'm like, do people ever get over that denial stage, or they just like make peace with this denial? They're like, yeah, I do not believe that this person is gone like forever, but I am okay with it, and I'm just gonna live my life thinking that. If you have ever experienced grief and you're like, first of all, I'm sorry, and second of all, just keep that in mind. If you want to read this book, it might be a little triggering. To me, it wasn't like triggering in a bad way. I could just empathize with the main character, and I could like feel her pain. I don't know how to explain it without spoiling the book. I definitely don't want to do that. But it was such a beautiful story, and I don't know how it was romantic and horror at the same time, but it was, and it was literally perfection. I am so happy that I finally read this book. Okay, so right now it's 1:15 a.m. and I'm going to start Welcome to Deadhouse by R.L. Stine. Everybody's going to bed. I don't want to be too scared. That's why I'm not picking like an adult, but this is like a middle grade, like a children's middle grade book. But I have already mentioned in my TBR video that R.L. Stine books do actually terrify me every now and then. Especially when I'm like reading them alone at nights. Some of the scenes in his books can be a little spooky. But I also wanted to mention that I'm so sleepy for some reason. I slept really late last night, and I woke up pretty late today as well, like in the morning. I woke up pretty late. I don't know why I'm so tired. I feel like I'm just passing out. If we're gonna be realistic, I will read this and then I will sleep, and then I will continue with the readathon tomorrow morning. I will keep you posted. Let's read. Actually, it's not morning right now. It's almost noon. I woke up about like an hour and a half ago. I had some work to do, and I also had this little online meeting. I stayed up until 3 a.m. last night, and I didn't read that much. Like, I got lost in the rabbit hole of Instagram Reels. I only read 70 pages of Welcome to the Deadhouse. I'm on chapter 10. I'm gonna continue reading now. I will update you in a second. Talk about this book. As you can probably tell, it's a haunted house story. This family has just moved to this really big old creepy house. They have 2 kids. We're reading this book from the perspective of the daughter of this family, and she has been seeing things, hearing things. Definitely scary. Like, if you read it alone at night, you get a little spooked out. I don't know. I've been reading R.L. Stine since I was a kid, and his books always has scared me. I might be like traumatized by that, but I believe that his books can be scary. Okay, so I finished Welcome to Deadhouse about an hour ago. It was 12 p.m. Right now it's 1:10. I gave this 3.5, maybe 4 stars. This was definitely one of my favorite R.L. Stine books. I was expecting something from it, and it delivered. Obviously, it was predictable. It's like a children's book, but like the spooky vibes and the haunted house aesthetic, it was there, you know. I wanted exactly that, and I got it. So if you like haunted house ghost stories, and if you get scared easily, I think this would be a good choice for you, because it's like a children's book. If you're like an adult like me who likes horror stuff, who does not get scared by like books and movies that often, if you read his books during the night, they will give you a little bit of like goosebumps. Horror is like a very self-explanatory thing. Like different people are scared from different things, and haunted house stories in books, they usually creep me out. After finishing this, I started Fantasticland. I was actually planning on starting Diavola, but like both this and Diavola, they're both haunted house stories, and I kind of like wasn't in the mood for it anymore. I didn't want to like read 2 haunted house books back to back, so I decided to pick up Fantasticland because I do have the audiobook for that, and I started listening to it. I am in the middle of chapter 1, so now that I have read a little bit of it, I'm gonna give you like a little plot summary of it so that if you're interested, you can pick it up as well. It's basically about this theme park in Florida. A terrible hurricane happens, and some people get stuck in this fantastic land. And after 5 weeks has passed, when the media and people go to this like fantastic land to see who has survived, they find these bunch of teenagers, but like alongside them, they find so many scary, creepy stuff. I'm not gonna go into too much detail. You can read the description on Goodreads. I'm kind of scared that I might get like reported on YouTube because of saying this stuff. Basically, they see that all these teenagers, the survivors, they have committed terrible crimes, and everybody's wondering like what really happened in that theme park during those 5 weeks. As it has been said on the Goodreads description, it gives like Lord of the Flies vibes, and I really like that book. In Lord of the Flies, there were children, but in this book, I believe there are mostly teenagers that are like stuck in this place, and they have to fight to survive. So they start creating different tribes, and they fight over food. They're basically just trying to stay alive. I believe we're going to be seeing how far human beings are willing to go if something like that ever happens. Let's just get reading, and as always, I will update you. Okay, so I just read the 2nd chapter of Fantasticland, and I was very confused about so many things, but I got all of my answers in this specific chapter. So I misunderstood. I thought that this hurricane only affected this like theme park, Fantasticland, and people like were stuck in it for like 5 weeks, and I was like, why didn't the rescue crew come and rescue them? Why did nobody care about them for like 5 weeks? But then in the 2nd chapter, we realized that this natural disaster was so much bigger than what I had imagined. It had affected so many different areas, and this rescue crew, they definitely checked up on Fantasticland. They realized that there is like food and supplies and medicine for like 300 people. They didn't get any like help signs from them. There were other places that like were in worse situations, like they were out of water, food, they didn't have electricity, and people were like drowning, and so many terrible stuff. So these rescue teams, they were like trying to help those, and they put Fantasticland at the bottom of their like priority list. That's why it took them so long to actually attend to this theme park and see what actually has happened. I'm very intrigued. It's basically written in like interview forms. So the second chapter was like the second interview, and each chapter is following a different person's interview. So I'm excited to get to the chapter of those teenagers who were stuck in Fantasticland and like what really happened down there, what made them act so evil. I'm enjoying it up until this point, and yeah, let's read some more. Hello. I have listened to 40% of Fantasticland, and it is currently 4:35 p.m. I am really enjoying it. The audiobook is phenomenal. As I've already said, every single chapter, it's like an interview with a different person, and every chapter is read by a different person, and they all do an amazing job. It kind of feels like I'm listening to like a real podcast, like a real documentary is like playing in the background, and I'm just like listening to it. It feels very legit. I kind of feel like the story was real. I actually looked it up. It was not real, but it's just a work of fiction, and things are scary at the moment in the book. I'm sure it will get a little bit scarier because up until this point we're like 5 or 6 days into this apocalyptic state that they're in. There is this one group, one tribe, they call themselves the pirates. They are a bunch of crazy kids, and the things that are happening are very disgusting. It is actually terrifying to think about human beings doing such violence. I kind of want to switch things up a little bit, because when I listen to too much of an audiobook, I start like zoning out, especially when I have nothing to do. Like, I have done all the things that I wanted to do just so I could have free time this weekend to do a 24-hour readathon. But like now, I don't know what to do, and I'm just like laying on my bed and listening to the audiobook. And like because of that, I start like zoning out. Every now and then I get really sleepy, and yeah, I need to change things up a little bit to get back on track. I don't know if I'm gonna finish Fantasticland before the readathon ends. Currently, I really would like to start reading Ibitsu Volume 2. It's only 205 pages, like in my phone. Let's just read this to change things up a little bit, and then I will get back into Fantasticland because I was really enjoying that. It's just that my brain was not helping, so the plan is saving myself with the horror manga. Let's go! So if I sell my apartment and you have some kids with an internet starlet, would that make your memory fade from the scarlet maroon? Like can never happen, could it be enough to just float in your orbit? Can we watch our phantoms like watching wild horses? Cooler in theory, but not if you force it to be. It just didn't happen. If you want to... Okay, my voice is cracking up. I should be reading. I don't have that much time. I'm bored. I'm kind of bored, even though I'm liking the books, but it's just like too much. And you may not believe this, but I still am thinking about the Haar. That book was freaking amazing. Like, I need the physical copy. Since the good ones are deceased or taken, I'll just keep on moaning and bitching. Okay, I love that song. Cutest little trot. She does not like being held, as you can tell by her face, but... Okay. Give me a little kissy. Okay.
I don't want to read. I kind of just want to like lay down and watch some TV shows or something. I feel like Daisy's hair is like all over my face, but let's read ibitsu. I hope it helps me out of my like audiobook slump. Okay, I just finished ibitsu volume 2. Wow. I had totally forgotten how much I loved the first book, and while reading the second book, I completely remembered every single thing. It is such a great horror manga. Like, wow. It's basically about this girl who wears a Lolita dress, and she's known as the Lolita demon and like legends and stuff. And she is always sitting by the trash cans, and whenever a guy comes up to like throw trash in the trash can, he asks them this question: do you have a little sister? It doesn't matter what they answer, yes or no. As soon as they just like talk to her, they answer her yes or no, she haunts them. She basically torments them. Suddenly, she's everywhere, and she wants to be this person's little sister. And it was so creepy. The art style, very beautiful. This like demon thingy, she was terrifying, but she was also beautiful. I love the art style. It was a 5-star read, obviously. I'm so happy with the books that I've read. I'm sorry about the noise if you can hear it. I don't have much time left. It's 6:12 p.m. I'm gonna get back into Fantasticland. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it on time, but let's see. Okay, so it is almost 7 p.m. 6:59, almost 7. And actually I just remembered that yesterday I started the readathon at like 6:45. It's been like 15 minutes that the readathon has ended, and I had totally forgotten about it. And yeah, I read 55% of Fantasticland. I wasn't able to finish it. I am not in a reading mood anymore. I have been reading for a very long time, and I honestly need some family time. Me and my family now we're gonna watch some like TV shows together. I just wanted to quickly say that I am still enjoying Fantasticland a lot. It reminds me so much of the Hunger Games, even though the circumstances are not the same. They're not like forced to be in this battle royale war zone place kind of thing. This tribe that I've already talked about, the pirates, they really remind me of some of the people in like the Hunger Games series. Definitely gross at times, but yet I like learning about different characters. There are so many characters. I really think that this book would turn out amazing as a movie. I have had so much fun during this readathon. I don't think I'm gonna continue on reading tonight. Let's do a little counting. So I basically read 3.5 books. If we're gonna do a page count, overall I read a total of 675 pages. And I am really happy with that, considering the fact that I was in a reading slump before this. Wow. Let's not forget the fact that I found 2 5-star reads in this video, so it was such a success. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to like it, comment down your thoughts, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe because I would really appreciate it if you do. And also, please hit the notification bell so that you don't miss whenever I post a new video. I hope you have a nice day or night, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!